It's really great to be here at the county on this beautiful day. My name is Catherine Blakespear, and I'm the state senator representing the 38th district. This includes parts of the city of San Diego, also North Coastal San Diego County and South Orange County. And I'm honored to be joined today by the Supervisor Chair Pro Tem, Paloma Aguirre. Thank you for coming today, as well as the other speakers who will be introduced as we move forward. So we all know that a lack of affordable housing and increasing homelessness has been a big problem in the San Diego region for many years. So every level of government is grappling with this. And since being elected to the state Senate in 2022, I've really tried hard to bring more attention and resources to the statewide homelessness crisis and to find innovative ways to address it that are different from what we've done in the past. I've been focusing on the need for more transitional housing to get people out of encampments faster. Transitional housing being the type of housing that's just up from having lived in an encampment. But there are many different things that we can do to help people who are on the verge of homelessness or are homeless for a short time or for a long time. We need to make sure that people who are living on our sidewalks, in riverbeds and canyons, on the Caltrans right-of-way, that they get out of that environment, those are not living environments, and into safe places to sleep, places that have a bed and a bathroom and a closed door and some dignity. We also need to make sure that there are social workers who can help them. One important piece of this is to try to remove the barriers that people face getting into housing. And one of the most effective ones is prevention. So studies show a return of roughly $2.50 to $5 for every $1 spent on prevention. And so this program that I was able to get money in the state budget for, this $1.6 million that you see here, is to support what's called the Homelessness Prevention Landlord Incentive Program. And I want to thank David Estrella, the director of the county's Housing and Community Development Services, for being here today, and you will hear from him after the supervisor speaks. His department administers this important program for the county. This program helps mostly veterans and has already helped 243 households with additional dollars to sustain the program. This money will allow the program to continue for 2 years. And evidence shows that programs like this are proactive measures that help people who are either at the edge of homelessness or have just fallen into homelessness to get back into some type of housing. And here's how it works. So a veteran who is experiencing homelessness connects with the VA, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. The VA determines eligibility, and if they qualify and are enrolled in what's called the VASH program, which is Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing, then they're assigned a VA case manager. At that point, they're connected to San Diego County's Housing Authority, which officially issues the voucher. The voucher works like rental assistance, so the veteran can use the voucher to find housing on the open rental market, just like any other renter could do. The VA case manager provides ongoing support and helps to find the unit, working with landlords and helping to complete the paperwork. So once a landlord agrees to rent to the veteran with a VASH voucher, the lease is signed, the rental assistance begins, and then they remain connected to supportive services to help them stay housed. So the county landlord incentive program is helping to make all of this work together. So the funds are paid directly to the landlord, not to the tenant. And men and women who have served our county deserve to have this type of stable housing. I'm honored to have Gregory Batoni with us. He is a VASH tenant who is willing to share his story. He will be speaking briefly. And I'm also grateful that we have a landlord here who will also be speaking to share his story. So the reason that this works is that there are many barriers to tenants getting into housing, and this money will go to things like leasing bonuses, application fees, security deposits, and then a landlord assurance fund. So if there happens to be damage that the unit sustains, then there's money to repair that damage so that landlords will continue to rent to people. And we have I'm really excited to have Eddie Walker here to describe that process. So Eddie is the landlord who participates in the program and is one of the many people who make it possible. I'm really grateful for those who are willing to take on the extra work of this and to work with the county on this program. When government works with members of the community, plus nonprofit organizations and the private sector, we're able to piece together everything that's needed to help people who are on the brink and who really need our assistance. Securing these dollars in the state budget last year was a challenge. We face multi-billion-dollar, multi-year budget deficits at the state right now, and so finding opportunities to get these types of investments made in the community is difficult to do. But I was able to articulate how valuable this is and was able to get money in the state budget. We all recognize that there's more work to do and that this is just a small part of the overall solution. But it's really important that we continue to find these places where we can really make a difference for people in our community. So with that, I would like to introduce Supervisor Paloma Aguirre to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I want to start by expressing my deep gratitude to Senator Blakespear for her support, for being a champion truly on housing and homelessness in Sacramento for a long time, but for helping us get the work down on the ground where it's making a difference in people's lives. And you'll hear about that later. Senator, through your leadership, we have, in securing the $1.6 million in the state budget for the County of San Diego's Homeless Prevention Landlord Incentive Program, isn't just a win for the balance sheet, it's a lifeline for San Diego County residents. This program fits squarely into the county's broader strategy to move from a reactive crisis management approach to proactive prevention. We know that once someone loses their home, the climb back is twice as hard and twice as expensive. That is why prevention dollars are the smartest investments we can make. It is more humane and frankly more fiscally responsible to keep a roof over someone's head rather than building a shelter bed later. A coordinated effort between federal, state, local government, and private sector partnership, all working together to create a menu of innovative routes and options to catch someone who's at risk of homelessness before it happens, is the most strategic and responsible way we can accomplish this. Already among these options are programs like VASH vouchers for our veterans and support services like CalFresh and Medi-Cal that aim to reduce everyday costs, which in turn help residents make rent. But what about those who fall between the cracks? That is not enough coverage for the broad range of situations and residents that may not have the right qualifications for the current support programs in place. We will hear today more from Eddie Walker next, who will speak on this issue. But right now, we are seeing a concerning trend in our veteran community. Many who are at risk, not just because they lack income, but because they face additional unique barriers like service-related disabilities and medical conditions, non-transferable workforce skills, or complex credit histories. A life after service for those who fought for our country deserve rest and peace of mind that they're being taken care of by their government. It is our moral obligation to ensure they aren't left on the street. That's where a menu of preventative options and collaboration comes into play. Our landlords and property owners are critical partners in this effort. To our San Diego County landlords, we hear you. We know the risks you take, and that is precisely why this program is so important. In 2025 alone, we paid over $680,000 in incentives to 186 participant landlords serving 243 households. With this new $1.6 million investment, we are adding even more households to the program. This is what true coordination looks like: federal voucher, state funding, county administration, and private sector partnership. I am taking this opportunity to call on our local landlords today to please join us in this program. These incentives are for you. They are designed to be mutually beneficial for both your efforts and our efforts to house our families, veterans, seniors, young professionals, and everyone else in between. Together, we can turn this funding into the stability our neighbors deserve. We can turn this funding into the safety net that catches those who are falling through the cracks. Thank you again, Senator Blakespear, for your efforts in getting this additional funding that will help so many households and so many people. Next, I'd like to introduce David Estrella, who has been also a champion on behalf of the county on issues related to housing and homelessness. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. First of all, we'd like to open by saying thank you to the Senator for her efforts on behalf of the entire region. We also would like to thank the Board of Supervisors for their leadership in our community, improving the lives of, in this case, veterans through a systemic approach to housing and homelessness. The Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing Program is a wonderful example of the intersection between health, housing, and human services. And through the Department of Housing and Community Development and other efforts by our county, the Board of Supervisors has now charged us as it's dedicated towards creating a continuum of housing all the way from street outreach through the Section 8 Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing Program, first-time home buyers, and through very specific efforts of transforming county land and developing new affordable housing opportunities across the region, investing over $300 million since 2017 in affordable housing development, resulting in over 6,000 units that have been created for affordable housing. In those very same units, we find individuals that have received street outreach through our Office of Homeless Solutions. So there's many, many examples that we could point to of where the county, through the Board of Supervisors, and of course through the state of California, are dedicated towards improving the lives of individuals that are experiencing homelessness. So we're grateful for the Senator's efforts. We're grateful for the county as a whole and every single member of the county team. We also want to thank the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. We want to thank the Department of Veterans Affairs. A very dedicated thank you to the landlords that make their units available and the partnership that they offer. And most especially, we'd like to remember and be extremely supportive for the individual participants that are in the program. It is through their strength and their energy that we gather the strength to continue our efforts forward and push forward in the positive directions that we see for our entire region. So thank you and have a wonderful day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eddie Walker. We run the Quince Park Apartments up in North County, Escondido. Want to thank you for being here, as well as our distinguished guest, Senator, ladies and gentlemen. Over 12 years ago, Vash approached me and said we would be interested in housing a veteran. I thought, yes, we'll look at that, because our mantra is everyone is entitled to a second chance. And then what we try to do is make a positive difference in everyone's lives that we come across each and every day that we're alive. So we took that on. This relationship has turned into over a 12-year relationship. Granted, there is a lot of work to be done, and there is a lot of paperwork. Many landlords are hesitant in getting involved in that because there are so many things that you have to jump through. But I will assure you, there's quite a reward in having to help these vets, because I look at it this way. These vets put their lives on the line for us. They said when they were enlisted, no one is going to bother you on my watch. And that's what we try to give back. We try to help support you, and no one's going to bother you on our watch being at Quince Park Apartments. There are challenges that have to be undertaken. And if the landlords are willing to say, hey, I'm going to give back, and they're willing to take on this extra work, it's rewarding. And you get through it. And once you get through it a couple of times, it's pretty easy to go through, because you know. We take it one step further, and we have a little counseling session with some of these veterans to let them know about some of the resources that they can tap into if they need help. And we're still going. The incentive program was a very integral part of this organization to help motivate some of the landlords to say, well, okay, I think I'll take a chance. And if they ever need any help, they can always call me, and I can help them work through the issues. Thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Gregory Bertoni. I'm a veteran, and I was recently homeless. I've been asked to give you a description of my personal experience. And I can tell you that with my personal experience, anger was number one. Being cynical was number two. Unfriendly. When I'm a very friendly person, I was very unfriendly when I was homeless. And beating myself up all the time. Embarrassed. I was more embarrassed being homeless than anything else. And the self-destructive behavior. The denial of help at times when I was offered help. It's a self-destructive behavior, being homeless. And number two, my feelings about the support. The support has been great. The support has been professional, dedicated, and sensitive to my needs. And through this process, I want to give a shout out to Britannia from the Carlsbad Outreach Team, who stuck with me from the beginning, and all the social workers and the case managers that stuck with me through my demon process, dealing with my demons. And number three, where would I be without this process? Where would I be? I'd be right back over there on a bench with the rest of those guys, and it wouldn't be fun. It's not fun. It's an empty life. It's hopelessness, continuously, day after day, hopelessness. And more self-destructive behavior and more negative interactions. That's where I would be without this help today. And number four, why? Why is it important for us to help veterans, to rent to veterans? Well, Abraham Lincoln once said, and we all know Abraham Lincoln, to care for him who have borne the battle. To care for him. It doesn't mean that you have to care for all of us, but to care for him that borne that battle. And a lot of us borne a battle today still. These veterans that signed, were willing to sacrifice their young lives at a time when the country needed them. At a time to help. And it's time to help that veteran now that answered that call, that signed on that dotted line with his blood. Didn't know he was going to come back from Vietnam. Didn't know whether he's going to ever come back. And he did come back. He came back to a divided society. He came back to a society that didn't want to accept him as a veteran, as a human being. That's changed today. We've been respected. We've gotten respect. And I've gotten a lot of respect today from Senator Brushier, from the county supervisor, and from this county of San Diego. They've given me the respect, the place to live, to have dignity. And with that, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to everybody for the help. I just can't be grateful enough to all of you. You've been so helpful to me. It brings a tear to my eye because I'm stabilized now. I don't have the stress. I don't have the anxiety. I don't have people threatening me every day of my life out there on the street. And that's what I was ended. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Gregory, for coming and sharing your story. I just want to also highlight that he took a bus for an hour to get to Encinitas, then took the train from Encinitas to downtown, and then got on his bicycle to ride here. So the commitment to make it to this press conference, I mean, it's really remarkable and worth recognizing. We're so grateful that you're willing to share your story and come today. And I also just want to thank everybody who came to this press conference today, because it's wonderful to have Eddie, the landlord, who's sharing his experiences of what motivates him to participate in this. And then, of course, the county program that has this going, and our supervisor demonstrating the leadership we need from our county if we're going to actually be able to solve this problem. So this is, I'm really grateful to have this team who came today. And so with that, I'd like to invite you all to stand with me with this ceremonial check so we could take a picture. Thank you.